This is another cold cut from Nahum WFI Memphis. And let's talk about um, the spirit that comes forth a lot of times through Israel. A lot of people put their hands to the work of the Most High, and they make a commitment to the Most High, only to tuck tail and run when things get hot in the kitchen, or only to put down the work when they have an offense. And it's a real demon that goes forth through the spirit that has to be um, talked about through the spirit, man. There's a lot of um, backbiting, and there's a lot of discourse, and a lot of hating, and a lot of wickedness that takes place in Israel. So a lot of people uh, say they're Israel, what I'm saying? They're not Israel through the spirit. They may be, of the flesh, what I'm saying? They may be of the under the covenant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but those curses of hating thy neighbor and love of thy neighbor, those curses run rampant in our community. And you got to question, man, are you one of those people who have that wicked spirit upon you, man, that has the hate for thy neighbor upon you, that when things get a little not to your liking, you throw in the towel, man, and you run away from doing the work of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. A lot of people leave this truth. You see videos of people, this is why I left the Hebrew Israelites, man. Or this is why I left that camp. Or this is why I left doing the work. This is why I hate this person. Everyone makes an excuse to fulfill the lust of your flesh, man. And that excuse ultimately will turn you, right, into a reprobate, an individualite, right? Not doing the things that are calmly and meet through the spirit, man, right? And we have to address a lot of these spirits that come through by way of quitting and or finding an offense in every little thing and every wrong. Let's go to the precepts. All right. Some people leave the truth because they can't take rebuke. A lot of people leave the truth because they don't like how a doctrine is being brought forth, man. They may have their own particular interpretation that they feel should go forth. A lot of people walk in a flesh of the spirit, and they move wickedly because they really aren't rooted in this walk. This is the book of Sirach. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 10. And I'm going to start at verse 6, and it says, "Bear not hatred to thy neighbor for every wrong, and do nothing at all by injurious practices." And you got to understand, a lot of people like tit for tat, man. That's an injurious practice. Well, you hurt me, well, I'm going to hurt you. Well, I felt this way, and I'm going to jump out of the truth. That's an injurious practice where you can't, stand in discipline and stand in the honor of being righteous without, returning evil for evil, without returning wicked for wicked. There's a place that the Most High is going to reward you, and you're not going to see it coming because you hated your neighbor, man. Like you started doing the work, you started praying, you started fasting, and just like that dirty, crusty job, you thought that you could quit on the Most High. You quit a job because you were offended, because the pay wasn't right, because this wasn't that, this person was talking to you crazy. But this is the truth, man. You can't just pick this up and throw this down, or have one foot in and one foot out, because that's how you move in the world. You got to get rid of the old man. You got to get rid of the old you, man. Right? Who starts a work and doesn't count the cost to finish, man? Right? Let me get this in Luke. Let's get another precept, man. It's a quick cold cut through the spirit to address the demon spirit that takes place, and there's multiple spirits that takes place when you have that quitter spirit in you, when you have that I'm always offended spirit in you. You can't do the work. It won't allow you to do the work. You're going to always be hating and saying something in your mind to make an excuse, to make you turn on somebody, or to make you spread rumors. There's a lot of people that talk behind people. They spread rumors in the truth. That's because of that quitter spirit. Like, you rather just fold your arms and sit in the corner. This is Luke chapter 9 and verse 62. And Yahushua said unto him, no man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of Yahweh. And you got to understand, there's a looking back spirit on Jake and on Eve, to where you've been in the world and the things of the world starts tickling your fancy again when you come into this truth. You start reminiscing on the old you, right? Your conversations start to get more wicked and more vain and more fleshly. You stop doing the things that you should be doing. And then the next point of correction, that's really love, that comes from your neighbor, you turn that into this whole drama field. Hey, it's just going, it's a back and forward, right? Hey, Jake will fight anybody for vanity, for vainglory. But when it comes for fighting for the truth and standing for the Most High, hey, brothers and sisters are throwing in the towel, man. They're putting it back on their skirts and hoochie clothes, man. Brothers are picking up their pistols and packing it again, and, you know, putting on the drill music and going back at it, man. They're reaching for things that are not beneficial. And the Most High is not dealing with that I'm easily offended, I'm gonna quit spirit. Matter of fact, let's get this. If you got the definition of quit, hey, drop it in the chat. Matter of fact, this is, get my book, man. It's a little bit torn. Let me get this Webster's dictionary, and I'm gonna turn to quitter. Matter of fact, is it quit? I'm gonna turn to quit. It says leave, abandon, resign. A lot of people leave and abandon and resign from the Most High. You think you're leaving your brother on the sidelines, or you're leaving sisters on the sideline, but you're really telling the Most High that, hey, what this truth thing that you put forth, this covenant, hey, that you put forth, is really not good enough for me. That's what you're saying through the spirit, man. Right? Discharged or released. And hey, it's a lot of people that are, it's abandonment through the spirit, man. Let me go down, right? It says quits, plural form, on even terms, released from obligation, right? Usually permanently, to leave, someone put in the chat. It says quitter, one who abandons a task through discouragement or fear. A lot of people are discouraged in this truth because it's not what you thought it was going to be. You didn't count the cost. You didn't realize that the Most High was going to test you on the things that you said you was going to leave alone. You didn't realize that, hey, it gets hot in the kitchen, man. But you gotta be strong in this truth, man. Let's get that in 2 Chronicles. You gotta be a little, what they saw, thick-skinned, man, right? You can't be so offended at every turn, in every correction, every rebuke. You're just waxing weaker and weaker, and now it's everybody's fault. It's everybody's fault you left, or you feel some type of way. But the spirit that's on you, you won't call that out. You won't call out the things that have you in your head hating your neighbor. That's not the issue. It's everybody else. And that's the spirit in Israel, man. This is 2 Chronicles chapter 15 and verse 7. Be ye strong, therefore, and let not your hands be weak, for your work shall be rewarded, man. And it says your work, not you putting your 2 weeks notice in the truth. You can't keep putting your 2 weeks notice in and jumping from camp to camp, man. This isn't Esau's world when you sign up to serve the Most High, man. You're making an oath on your soul. That's what Jake liked to say, on God. Man, that this thing, fire on God. But you not understanding, everything's on your house, on you. And if you refuse to abandon wickedness and pick up righteousness, and you flip-flop it, and now you're abandoning righteousness and picking up wickedness, you're gonna die by those actions, man. Hey, your actions are gonna be weighed in this truth. Your heart is gonna be put in a balance, man. And you can't get away from that through the Spirit. You can't get away from being charged to do more, right? You should be increasing in the works. You should be increasing in your prayers. You should be increasing in your patience. You should be increasing in your allowance to not, bear hatred towards your neighbor for every wrong, man. These are the scriptures. Matter of fact, let's get this in Colossians. Let me get this precept, man. You should have some sort of patience for your brethren, man. Right? You should have some sort of patience for those who are laboring beside you, for those who are going to war with you, really. Standing beside you in the furnace with you, man. You should have some sort of love and or joy for those who are giving the same thing that you're giving at a high level. This is Colossians chapter 3, and I'm going to start at verse 13. It says, forbearing one another and forgiving one another, if any man have a quarrel against any, even as Mashiach forgave you, so also do ye. You got to forgive those people who are, despitefully using you, in a sense, man. It's in the book of Matthew, right? People are going to despitefully use you, persecute you in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You gotta move around on a spiritual level versus putting down the work, putting down the plow, and making an excuse, man. Are you a quitter? That's a valid question. Are you a quitter, man? Do you quit when things get a little tough, man? Right? Or are you being strong through the Spirit and fleeing from wickedness, man? A lot of that quitter spirit is a spirit that's on a lot of people. When they come into this truth, they make a whole dissertation. They got a list full of things. Do you have a list on why serving the Most High and gathering together is just not your thing? It's just not your thing, man. You got a list, man. And the Lord's going to judge you by that. Because the same things that you held as an excuse not to do the work and to cause division, the Most High is going to cut you asunder. And hey, you're going to be thrown over there with the tares, man, instead of being gathered up with the wheat. This is the book of James, chapter 4, and I'm going to start at verse 7. Submit yourselves, therefore, to Yahweh. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. And that spirit that comes upon you that says, I'm offended, or, this truth ain't for me. I thought it was going to be this and it's not. Hey, man, you got to resist that spirit that wants to put you in a corner and just put you in a lower state to not do righteous or to not do thus says the Lord, or even to return evil for evil, man. That's a demon, devilish spirit that jumps on a lot of Israel and a lot of Jacob. And they make excuses to do whatever the hell they want to do because they've now justified it. You've justified wickedness in your heart. And it just doesn't work that way, man. Let me get this precept in Matthew chapter 11. All right. Let's go to the book of Matthew chapter 11. And I want verse 28 through the Spirit. It's the book of Matthew chapter 11 and verse 28. And it reads, come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. And that's the thing. This work, doing the work shouldn't be something that you make an excuse to run away from the truth because doing the work is too hard for you, man. Doing righteousness is beneath you, man. Doing the work means that you're accounting the costs, right? Things are gonna get hot in the kitchen. You may have calamity beset you, man. You may have to go through chastisement, right, through the Lord, right? You may have to have some whoopings come upon your backside for being in the world so long, man. Hey, deal with that. Deal with that through the Spirit, man. Hey, don't make an excuse to not only leave the truth, but to cast wicked names and wicked curses upon your brethren who are laboring, who are picking up the plow, who are moving righteous, man. There's a lot of people that like to make excuses to do whatever the hell you want to do, man, and that's off. But what did Yahweh Shai say about doing the work? He says, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Well, hey, man, that sounds like a good, sweet deal to me. That sounds like righteousness to me. Okay, look at what Yahweh Shai just said, man. Well, who am I to make a commitment and not be a man or woman on my word, man? You're not being a man of your word when one day you make a commitment and the next day you disappear. You're not being a man or woman of your word when one day you say, "Hey, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai." You're blessing the name. And then the next day you're playing Boosie, you're in the strip club, and Lord knows what's going on in the front of you and the back of you, man. Hey, they're making it rain on you now. You're dealing with woman and woman now. And this is hey, you got all these holidays coming up. You got this wicked 4th of July coming up. And a lot of people are just gonna keep living each day in sin back to back, not giving a damn about the ordinances of the Most High, and they just keep quitting on everything. You just keep quitting. You keep quitting. You keep running. You just keep. That's a bad demon, man. That's a bad spirit to run away from every damn thing, man. Like, how are you gonna ever be trustworthy in anything that you do when the moment you're uncomfortable, you just flee? You just pack up your bags and you flee, man. It's not a good trait to have, and that trait is born of a demon spirit. You don't see that spirit in Israel being profitable to just pick up your bags and leave, man. Let's go to the book of Nehemiah. Let's get a precept on that. You don't see that being a profitable spirit. How do we ever get anything done if we always cowered and we were in our cowardice and we just always tuck tail and run? Let's go to the book of Nehemiah chapter 4, and I'm going to start at verse 16. "And it came to pass from that time forth that the half of my servants wrought in the work." Half of the servants was doing the work, and the other half of them held both the spears, the shields, and the bows, and the harbingers, and the rulers were behind all the house of Judah. So you have this portion of our people who were so organized to be brothers to each other, to be our brothers' keepers. You got half of them doing the work. Hey, you got half of them on guard and playing security, man, with their shields and their bows and their spears, man, right? It says in verse 16, I keep reading, "And it came to pass from that time forth," Salakia, verse, where am I at? 16, yeah, let me finish 16, right? It says, "And the harbingers and the rulers were behind all the house of Judah," verse 17, "they which builded on the wall, and they that bare burdens with those that laid it, every one with one of his hands wrought in the work, and with the other hand held a weapon. So this verse 17 goes into showing you that you can't be, one, you can't be a coward. Two, you can't be afraid of laborious work. You can't be a excuse maker in a time of war. How are your women and children going to be protected if when someone bangs on the door, you're hiding behind your wife, man? You're grabbing your slippers and you're going under the bed with your binky and a blanket, hiding under the covers. How can anybody trust you, man? Where this work requires you to have integrity, to hell be a man or woman of your word, to lean and have faith on Yahweh Shem Yahushua. How are you not gonna take the mark of the beast if at this point you're untrustworthy with small things? Let's keep reading. Verse 17 is a mighty verse. It says, they which build it on the wall, and they that bear the burdens. And you can't be afraid to have a little hardship in this thing, man. It's about you growing in the truth, not staying stagnant. You can't grow if you don't go through anything, man. Right? Let's keep reading through the Spirit. Let's keep reading through the Spirit. It says, verse 17, let's finish this out. And wrought in the work in the other hand held a weapon. Verse 18, for the builders, every one had his sword girded by his side, and so builded. And he that sounded the trumpet was by me. And I said unto the nobles, and to the rulers, and to the rest of the people, the work is great and large, and we are separated upon the wall, one far from another. In what place wherefore ye hear the sound of the trumpet, resort ye thither unto us, and our God shall fight for us. So we labored in the work, and half of them held the spears. From the rising of the morning till the stars appeared. Who doing work like that, man, in these last days, man? Who's willing to hold the fort down, hold the post down, be your brother's keeper till morning, till the stars appear, man? Right? This is something that we all have to continue to pray to the Most High to figure out. Like I said, this won't be a long cold cut. I got to get back in here to this plantation through the Spirit. This is the book of Sirach, and I want 37 Baba Kashar, right? And I'm gonna start at verse 12. It says, but be continually with a godly man, whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord, whose mind is according to thy mind, and will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry. And that's what being in this truth is truly about, having those who are righteous in the same mindset as you, right? And the mindset that you should be in through the Spirit, right? It's not to quit. It's not to easily be offended at every little thing, making 1,000 lists and never talking to your brother or sister about the things that you might have been offended in. You're just holding it against them, right? This is a lesson to remove that spirit so that you don't become resentful upon spirits and adding sin unto sin. That way you weed yourself out of this truth, and you weed yourself out of righteousness through the Spirit, man. Right? This is something that you have to realize is prevalent in Israel. You know, I've seen it time and time again, and I'm not going to go into any accounts, but you know, if you're an Akim out there, or a sister out there, Aquath out there, man, and you know you got that spirit on you that if anything happened, well, I'm out, I'm throwing up the deuces. You got to examine what spirit that is, especially in serving the Most High and having to endure affliction on the behalf of the Most High. All right, this is the book of Matthew. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 9, and I'm gonna start at verse 37, and it reads, then saith he unto his disciples, the harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few. And we need more laborers. We need more people willing to do this work, who aren't willing to continue looking at their own selves, but being a sacrifice to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. To offer yourself up to be a living sacrifice and to be selfless, to be unselfish, right? To be righteous and to cherish, right, the relationships that the Most High brings through and to you by way of coming into this truth. You have to put charity upon charity. Now, does that mean all Israel ain't wicked and you ain't got some wicked people in Israel propagating? No, that's not what that means. There's imitators in the world. Why wouldn't it be imitators in the truth? What they got to do with you being authentic? What they got to do with you being genuine and sincere? It has nothing to do with you. It's an excuse. You can find an excuse under every rock out here, man. Just look up, look down, look to the right. Hey, there's an excuse everywhere. But find a reason to be righteous and to push through and to endure and to have faith and to find a way. Let me get another precept, man, in 1 Corinthians chapter 15. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 15. And I want verse 58. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as you know that your labor is not in vain in Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Your labor is not in vain. So, hey, stop complaining. 1, 2, stop being so offended. All right, don't quit. Remove those spirits from you and chase Yahweh Shem Yahushua with your whole heart. All right, this is 1 Thessalonians. All right. Let me get a couple more precepts through the Spirit, man. Let me get this in 1 Thessalonians, right? And I want chapter 5. And let's start at verse 12. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 12. And we beseech you, brethren, to know them which labor among you and are over you in the Lord, and admonish you. You need to be acquainted with righteousness to accept someone who's laboring with you and to accept those who have to correct you that are over you. You got to have the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua on you. If you still got a nigga spirit on you and you still got a hateful spirit on you, you won't love your neighbor. You won't give a damn about who laboring with you. You'll quit on them in the first time somebody has to correct you. Hey, why you coming to camp so late or something, bro? Hey, let's all be in the spirit. Hey, let's move decently in order and not cut each other off. The first correction, a brother gonna make 1,000 things in a list, and hey, this is why I left, man. This is why I'm not rocking with you. This is why I ain't rocking with them. And that's the wrong spirit to be in. All right, sis. I thought I could talk about this with you, man. I see I can't talk about nothing. I'm out. Hey, don't fall for the okie doke. There's always a way through Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You got to have faith. You got to have some sort of compass, right? Facing the east. Hey, let that compass guide you back to the land, man. The land is where the Holy Spirit is. The Holy Spirit is where the righteousness, where the Most High dwells, man. So if we all put our compass on the east, we should all be hand in hand in this truth, laboring righteously, laboring without strife, without wickedness. Okay, let me get another precept through the Spirit before I wrap up. Let me get this. And you gotta see this thing all the way through the end. You gotta see this through. You can't get weak now. You can't make excuses now. The Spirit of the Most High is visiting the earth. If you aren't paying attention, the Most High is visiting the earth, man, and it's only the birth pains are only going to get worse. This is Matthew chapter 24, and I'm gonna start at verse 13. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this is for all you who are teetering on the fence about serving the Most High, or teetering on the fence about being in the truth. All of you all who make that decision to serve the Most High, right? Endure, right? See this thing through. Don't give up. Matter of fact, let's look up the word before I end this live. Let's look up the word endure. Again, this is your Webster's, right? Dictionary. It says to undergo. This is the definition of endure. To undergo or sustain. Sustain without impairment or yielding. To bear with patience. Put up with. To put up with. Right? Continue to exist. And if there are any more definitions on endure, right, drop it in the chat. Through the Spirit, you have to endure. You have to, what does it say? I like the last one. It says, bear with patience or put up with. You know, I like to say, I wouldn't even say put up with. Because, hey, fighting for the Most High is not something you just put up with, right? But you put up with, you know what I'm saying, the afflictions. You take it on the chin, is what we say in the world. Take it on the chin, man, right? You don't keep making excuses just to do what you want to do, right? It says whether it's physical pain or challenging situation, right? There's something that you deal with, right? Whether it's a physical pain, endure means it doesn't feel good. It may not feel good. You go through physical pain, you go through adversity, you go through, you know, hardships. You deal with it. You deal with it through the Spirit. Hey, but by the power of the Most High, how about Shem Yahushai, is a quick cold cut through the Spirit, you know, addressing those who just might want to give up. Don't give up. Put in the work. Keep doing what you're doing. There are many offices in this truth. There are many things that can be done in this truth. There's a plethora of duties that have to be fulfilled. You know, find your way and get through it. And hey, and don't make an excuse. Stop making excuses, man. Right? This isn't the time for you know, looking at everybody and you know, casting lots on people's heads and, you know, backbiting. Let me get another precept through the Spirit, man. Hey, this ain't the time for that, man. Let me go to Zechariah, right? I want the book of Zechariah, and let me see if I can find this last precept through the Spirit, man. You got to stop just looking at everything and everybody with an evil eye, man, right? You got to stop doing that. This is Zechariah chapter 8, and I'm going to start at verse 17. And let none of you imagine evil in your hearts against his neighbor, and love no false oath. For all these are things that I hate, saith the Lord. If you can't be trusted by the brothers in the truth or the sisters in the truth, you damn sure can't be trusted by Yahweh Shem Yahushai. But with that, I'm going to say, Kah Halal Yahweh, Shem Mashiach Yahushai, praise to the Most High, through the Spirit, man. Hey, be strong and keep fighting. I'm about to get back here in this plantation. Unfortunately, right, we got to endure. So keep enduring through the Spirit. All right, all praise to the Most High. Shalom.